Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Football Pub. I'm your host, Luke Papateros.
And I'm your host, Kevin Hunt. Today we're going to be talking about Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, and Jarvis Landry.
Let's start with Saquon. On our last episode, we discussed how well Saquon has been playing throughout his first few games of the season, although this is no longer the case. In the past 3 weeks, Saquon has been averaging 10.5 points per game, and that's in PPR leagues. He did get hurt earlier in the season, and I think that is what's limiting his true talent as a running back. Although, because of his drive and love for the game and his natural abilities, I still see Saquon as a solid RB2.
I would agree, Luke. Saquon is always a solid starter for me and probably will be a starter for me for the rest of the season. Now let's transition over to Lamar Jackson. He has been having an unbelievable season, averaging 27.9 points per game in fantasy and 221 passing yards and 80 rushing yards per game as a quarterback. He has 11 rushing touchdowns and 30 passing and only 8 interceptions, which is pretty good. He is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and he is definitely a solid start for me, whether or whoever they're playing.
He's definitely a special player. Lastly, let's discuss Jarvis Landry. Going into the season, everyone thought Odell Beckham Jr. was going to be Baker Mayfield's main receiver throughout pretty much the whole season. Talent-wise, I think Odell is definitely the best receiver that the Browns have, although due to this, he's been getting double covered and get the best corner on opposing teams put on him, which has caused Jarvis Landry to get open more, and which has helped him get more receptions. Throughout the beginning of the season, he was averaging close to 12 points per game, and currently he's only averaging 15.9 points per game in PPR, although his numbers have seen a dramatic rise in the past 4 weeks, averaging 23.2 points in PPR leagues. Landry is a great wide receiver too for the remainder of the season.
I would agree. He's a solid start for me, and so is Odell Beckham Jr. But Baker Mayfield, never a start for me.
Never a start.
So now let's head over to Park Ridge football. Last Friday, the Owls traveled down to Hasbrook Heights for their second sectional title in the first time in 24 years.
Last year, Park Ridge played in the sectional title game and lost 35-28 to Butler. It was their first attempt for the sectional final since 1995, when the Park Ridge team beat Pagoda 39-6 at their home field.
It's been a long time coming. The team has trained really hard this offseason and has worked their tails off in the weight room and in practice. Big thanks to all the coaches for everything they've done throughout the year.
Thank you, coaches.
Yeah, thank you, coaches. So let's talk about the game. So Park Ridge traveled to Hasbrook Heights last Friday for the sectional title for the second time? And by the end of the night, Park Ridge at the 2 seed topped the number 1 seed, Hasbrook Heights, 21-14.
That day will go down in history, and so will that team as well.
So let's bring up some key players from the game. First off, let's talk about the Park Ridge defense. The linebackers, they played a key role in stopping Spencer Lee from finding the end zone. Daniel Gooten and Daniel Kim had a combined total of 19 tackles, with Daniel Kim leading the team with 10.
Man, those two are an unstoppable duo at linebacker. Along with Brendan Hughes, I personally would not want to be running the ball with them on the other side.
Unbelievable. So now let's talk a little bit about the Park Ridge offense. their first possession, the Parkridge offense came off with a hot start and found the end zone in an 11-play drive.
Also, let's recognize Vincent Pinto. Boy, did he put on a show. He only threw the ball for 29 yards, but he rushed 34 times for 127 yards.
Next week, the Owls will travel to MetLife Stadium to take on the Boonton Bombers for their first ever regional title, Saturday at 1 p.m.
This is the second time Parkridge has ever played Boonton, and first time being last year in the playoffs where they won 48-28. And Vince Pinto had a great game last season, getting Athlete of the Week, so he's expected to have a big game again this year.
He is. What a show he put on last year, and the Owls all together, offense, defense, special teams, we should all put it together and come out on top. We've worked too hard for this.
High expectations for this game. As always, I'm Luke Papateros.
And I'm Kevin Hunt. We're signing off. We'll see you next Saturday.